I want to share with you today a couple of thoughts on the gospel. So, it's true, the gospel seems to, it looks like Jesus gives a tough answer to his mother and his brothers. Apparently, he's not interested in them, and he, kind of despises them and puts in first place the disciples. But when we come to look closely at this text, we see that, in fact, the Lord, what he's doing is he's thinking about his mother. Because he says, "My mother and my brothers are those who hear the word of God and act on it." So the question is, who is the person in the world who listens better to the word of the Lord and puts it more into practice than the Virgin Mary? And we'll know that she is the paradigm, she is the greatest example of what it means to listen and to act. So really, in a sort of concealed way, what Jesus is doing is he's saying, Mary is always in the first place for me, in my heart. And the second thing I want to share with you is, I think this gospel is also talking about the importance of a spiritual family. And I want to share something with you about my own life. When I was in my last years of high school, I discovered a spiritual movement called Catholic Advance. Before I went to a retreat with Catholic Advance, all of the friends that I had were my friends from school. And they were not godly friends. They were just friends. They were not evil friends. They were just friends. But when I discovered the significance of a spiritual family, when I started to make new friends in this Catholic movement, I saw the benefits of having a spiritual family. And I understood how important it is for us to belong to small groups. That's why Jesus himself made the disciples part of a small group. Because we need a spiritual family in the same way that when we are small and kids, we need of our parents to survive and to make it through. In the same way, in our spiritual life, we need a spiritual family. And that's what Jesus is saying. He's saying, as important as our links of blood and flesh, we need spiritual links with our friends and with our family. So my encouragement for you guys is, do you belong to a small group? I see some faces and I know you're part of the Legion of Mary and such, and I think, great. So first step is, let's find a small group. Let's find a spiritual family. Jesus is telling us today, a spiritual family is equally or perhaps even more important than a natural family. But also the second step is, if we are already part of a small group, if we already have a spiritual family, do we invite new people to come to this family? Today we start the training for small group leaders. It is a good moment. If you personally are not involved in a small group, this is a good place where to start, to train yourself so that you can lead a small group in the future. But brothers and sisters, the word of the Lord is clear. It is telling us we need a spiritual family. It is true, the parish in a wide sense is a spiritual family, but I think that we need something more concrete, something of a small group. In the same way that my small group, when I was growing up in high school, changed my life and led me to the priesthood, I would encourage you, let's seek for small groups and let us invite other people to be part of them too.